Okay, this video is for those of you who are a bit John Lennon when it comes to playing the piano. You might be good guitarists or good at other instruments, but your knowledge of the piano doesn't come from any sort of training or experience. It's just because you're able to pick out the notes. Lennon was just like that. People call it elegant simplicity. It wasn't. He just struggled to play the piano well. Okay, so what can you do to make your music more interesting, richer, give it a little bit more edge? Well, one of the things I want to look at is the way you can take some of the basic chords you might know and make them a bit more interesting. So that you can get your head around this, the first thing we need to make sure we've got to grips with is the concept of semitones. Okay, we don't need to go into the music theory, but all you need to know is that on a piano, a semitone is the interval between any between two notes that are directly next to each other, whether it's a black note or a white note. So that's a semitone, that's a semitone. Those are all semitones, and that is as well. Yeah. So if you go from one note up a semitone, you're going to the note that is literally to its right on the piano keyboard, whether it's a black note or a white note. If you're going down a semitone, you're going to the one that's immediately to its left, whether it's a white note or a black note. So that's a semitone down, that's a semitone as well. So let's imagine that you've got a basic chord. If you're a guitarist, you will, probably your favourite chord is a chord of G major. Very simple to play on the guitar. What can you do to give that basic chord of G major a little bit of extra texture or richness? Well, you can make it a G6 by adding the note that is two semitones, a whole tone, up from the fifth note, D there. So G6, whatever inversion you play G in, you can add the 6 and it gives it a nice sort of bluesy, jazzy flavour. The 7th is very bluesy, and that is your basic G chord plus 3 semitones. The same works for any chord, I should say. So if you're playing a chord of E and you want to play E7, 3 semitones, C, let's go back to G. That's very, very bluesy. And that's a C7, back to G7, D7, yeah, so D chord plus 3 semitones, C7. Okay, you get the idea. If you're after something a little bit more mellow, you can go for G major 7, which is your basic G chord plus 1, 2, 3, 4 semitones. You're putting an F sharp in. Again, it works in all the inversions, playing all the same notes, just in a slightly different order. Very mellow, using a lot of cool jazz. That's got an interesting effect. That's swapping between 6s and 7s. C6, C major 7. Okay. You can achieve various other effects by putting other notes in. You chord G. You can use suspended notes. So a suspended 4 means adding the C in. Discordant. A really nice sound is the 9th, which is G9. It's a chord of G with an A in it, and it's actually the 9th because if that's your major 7th, you go up 2 tones, 8, 9, so another 1, 2, 3 semitones. Really bluesy, but if you miss out the F sharp, you just get that lovely, warm, rich 9th sound. So just to reiterate, you can do that in any key. So if you've written your song on the guitar in E major and you want to do something on the piano and add a bit of richness, put in your sixth, so adding 2 semitones, a seventh, 3 semitones, major seventh. Okay, works for minor chords as well. A minor, A minor 6. Usually you would go to an F sharp. A minor 7, lovely, really nice chord. Okay, you wouldn't really do that, which is the same configuration as a major 7 but in a minor key. You could do if you're after a particular effect, but it's not particularly harmonious. Okay, so the basic advice, as always, is to play around, see what happens when you mess about with your chords. The real trick to getting good at this kind of thing on the piano isn't to follow instructions like this. It isn't, this is a guideline. It isn't to play around with books and stuff. If you're not going to go the whole hog and have piano lessons, then your best bet is just to sit around and play about, and don't feel you have to be constrained. So get your basic chord and put in extra notes and see what the effect is. There's no such thing as a wrong note. Okay, I hope that was useful.